Hello and welcome back to the Full Figured Interviews, where we talk to some of the incredible people in our Full Figured community. I'm James.
And I'm Tim, so let's get into it.
Today we are speaking with the Full Figured Industry Awards 2024 Outstanding Stylist, Miss Fatima Tan'ia.
Hi guys.
How you doing, girl?
I'm good. I'm great, obviously. Grateful to be here to talk to you guys. It's gonna be a
We're
time.
grateful to have you. Thank you.
Yes.
It's going to be a fun time, girlie. Listen, very keen to get into it with you today. So listen, first things first, for the people who do not know you, what is the first thing you want viewers to know about you?
First, that I'm God-fearing. That's number one. He keeps me and he grounds me. That's a big deal for me. Number two is I'm that girl, been that girl, will forever be that girl. And lastly, I lead with a grateful heart. Obviously, I'm a celebrity wardrobe stylist. I've done some great work. But most importantly, I'm graceful and I'm kind.
See, now I love you kick off with God-fearing. I feel like, I'm former born-again Christian myself here, so, I understand a bit of that world where it all comes from. And I don't know, I love hearing people who really want to lead with like a sort of spirit-led heart, right? It always indicates someone who's you're here on a mission, rather than just kind of like, here kind of haphazardly. With no shade to people who fall into that category otherwise, but you
Right.
always get a sense of that strong, like, goodwill intent
Absolutely.
leads as such. So, thank you. I mean, listen, share a little bit of your faith with us.
Like I said, God is the head of my life, always has been, always will be. Obviously, I'm not perfect. None of us are, but I try to lead with that always. And then just the thought process of I believe in you do good to others, other good things will happen to you. I'm a firm believer that I'm blessed because I'm a constant blessing to the people that I love, directly and indirectly.
I love that. Going out there with good energy. And baby, bringing good energy to the conversation today. Now that is a blessing. Oh. So, centering on size for a second here, right? Because I'm always curious, like, how did you personally come to find the love and pride that you have for your body?
It's been since I was younger. I've always been like a pretty tall girl. I'm 5'9". I play basketball, so I was really tall from the beginning. I became heavier when I was about, I would say, 15, 16. And that was because I had to get on steroids. I had moved from the Bronx to Albany, New York, and the environmental change had made me have to take steroids. And so I had blew up really, really big, way bigger than I am now. And then I was like, no, we got to get this together, sis. I've never lacked confidence, and I'm thankful for that. That's an attribute to myself, obviously God, and the people that I've always had around me. So it was never about, self-esteem or anything like that. It was about, okay, we got to get healthier. Like this is not good. But always loved my body, still do, will always, always will. As a woman, you're always like, oh, I can tweak this and I can do this and I want to do that. And, I need to lose a little bit of this. But overall, I'm very happy with who I am, the skin that I'm in, and it gives.
I love the way that you describe that. And what's your relationship to terms like thick, curvy, and even fat? Like, there's such a like divided opinion on that word. There's so many larger people like, no, I'm fat. You can call me that. That's what it is. And other people who are like, no, that's triggering. And like, so how do you feel with all of that?
It's for a couple reasons why I think people get offended with the word fat. I think a lot of times it's trauma-based. And then I think it just is the way that you view yourself. I've never had a problem with someone calling me fat when I was fatter. But like I said, I'm thick. I love it. I love it here. And I've never had a problem. I didn't have a problem when I was bigger. I don't have a problem now. I didn't have a problem when I was, a little bit smaller. Like I said, it's just a mindset. It's what you want to call yourself and what you want to identify as. Like I said before at the beginning of the interview, I'm a firm believer that I was born that girl. I've been that girl. I will forever be that girl. And that's just my mindset. And I think that's what it really is all about.
This is something that's particularly interesting to me because no one comes into the world naming themselves, right? We don't choose our names. We're named by the people who love us. But at some point, we are told, name thyself. Like someone said, what is your name? What are you? Name yourself. It's just so weird. Like you come into the world, you're given a name, you carry it, and then at some point, some adult pulls you aside, like, what is your deal? What are you about? Right. It's a strange. I'm sorry, that wasn't a very good segue.
No, but like I feel that, even baby, just here in the beginning, like there is something to be said about the power of conviction. you know, that really, and that comes across from you, Fatima, in spade loads. And it's something that's very, how do you describe it? It's like, you speak, I want to listen. And not just in the courteous, like, oh, we're having a conversation, of course, I'm paying attention, but in the way where you speak and I'm like, oh, she's got something to say.
It's funny that you say that. I've gotten that my entire life. When I was in kindergarten and I had my first report card, it was, she's flourishing, she's phenomenal, but she's a social butterfly. She talks too much. And that stands true for today. But with this Fatima, the adult Fatima, I stand on business. But again, it's important to be kind and it's important to give people grace. And so I do that with you know, well within my communication. But again, I'm never going to stop loving on me, loving me. And when you stand on that conviction, you're able to talk that talk. That's just it.
Well,
I envy you for having figured that out at such a young age. I didn't realize that until I was in my late 30s.
But that also speaks truth to power for, like, the confidence of a young woman of color who's out here in this world doing what needs to be done and taking absolutely no prisoners when it comes to doing what needs to be done. And I mean, I think that's real clear with being the celebrity stylist, with all the things that you have done so far in your career. And honestly, I think it's just so exciting to get to dig into all of this, girl. I mean, look, let's take it back a sec, right? Because you are all of these things, like a celebrity fashion stylist, image architect, visual stylist, creative director, lifestyle blogger, closet analyst. Like, how do you distinguish these roles, and how do you do them all?
I believe in effective time management. That's the biggest thing, honestly speaking. My goal is to not just be the jack of all trades and a master of none. I want to master everything that I do. So I am a firm believer, again, in effective time management. I am not Superwoman. I cannot do it all, but my goal is to be all. And so in order for me to do that, I have to really manage my time effectively, because I do a lot of things. And aside from that, I also have my own property management company. And so it's a lot. It's a lot of things, and it's all the things. But again, when you manage your time effectively and know that time is money, you know, and you move on that accord, honestly speaking, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done every time.
Hit the ground running, baby. I feel like you and I would be a menace together. Because, baby, that is absolutely on my spirit. It's like, listen, I've got time to do this, but the time is a window, okay? I am absolutely capable of getting this done, but you need to relay me the information real quick. Watch me run, take it and go. Relay race that stuff. Like, absolutely. I feel like a lot of people don't really take initiative sometimes. Like, sometimes I feel like people really walk into a space thinking, I'm going to do the thing, but you're going to hand me the rule book. You're going to sit me down and walk me through it. And look, sometimes, yes, it needs to be explained out. Sometimes we do need to take time to plan out our stuff and, you know, get it all together. Sometimes, baby, you just need to get to work.
Absolutely.
And soon as you get to that, soon you're done.
Right. And to be honest with you, like I said, in property management, I've been in property management, design, and construction for 14 years, alongside of still being the celebrity stylist that I am. And I'm saying all that to say it is a male-dominated, Caucasian-dominated, middle-aged dominated field. I am a Black woman in New York City, and that to be a double minority and to be doing property management, design, and construction and be at the top of my field, it's not an easy thing. So you have to take the initiative. No one is giving me anything. And most people don't even allow me to eat at their table. So I created my own table, and you can sit at mine if you qualify.
So, sorry, you're based in New York. What distinguishes, like, when people talk about New York style, like, admittedly, I only spent a week in New York, but just walking around and seeing all of the fashion and seeing how eclectic everything is, and like, how would you define New York style?
Versatile. That's the biggest name I can give it. You have to be versatile, and it's just a melting pot, honestly speaking. You turn to your left and see one look, you'll turn to your right and see another. If you're in the Bronx, you're gonna see one look, and I am a Bronx girly, born and raised, and so you're gonna see one look. If you go to Harlem, you're gonna see another look. If you go to Queens, Jamaica, Queens, you're gonna see another look. And so that's what it's really about. It's versatile, and it's a melting pot. You're gonna see different looks depending on where you go.
Do you think that at this point there's anything so shocking or so outlandish that it might actually shock a New Yorker?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You will see it all, whether you're riding the subway, whether you're driving your car, whether you're walking down the street to get your matcha. Baby, you're going to see it all.
Go.
In all the boroughs.
We were there for a week, and truly, we did see it all on the tube. It was wild.
Yeah, that was an experience.
That was something. And I live in London, okay? So when people were like, oh, New York, for the longest time, I was like, okay, New York is just American London. It's a big mecca city, there's public transport, there's crazies everywhere, and then there are people doing their own thing. Like, I know how to get about this place, I know how to connect and do all this. Oh, New Yorkers ain't no joke. They are no joke.
When they tell you if you could come here and you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, it really is that. You can come from here and go anywhere in the world. They could put you in the middle of the world with very minimal things. And if you really have that mindset, you're going to get it done because it's just the New York in you. It's gritty. It is what it is.
I definitely fell in love with it while I was there. And now that I think about it, I'm like, could I survive in New York City? I don't know. I mean, Queens was lovely. I feel like I could fit in Queens quite well. I just probably couldn't afford to live there.
Yeah, Queens is different. Like I said, every borough is different. Every borough has something different to offer, and the looks will eat depending on the borough you are and the section of that borough or that city that you're in, for sure. But it's definitely different.
Yeah, even here in London, it's interesting that, you know, certain areas of the city, you can certainly tell, like, by certain architectural style or the kind of people talking about it, be like, oh, I know which street I'm on, or I know what suburb I'm in. But certainly within New York, it felt so very like you cross the street and you saw the difference immediately because of the way the sun hit, and you're like, this is almost an entirely different world. And you'd slip down one street, and all of a sudden you're in not Greensboro. What was that area, Tim?
When we walked into Greenwich Village, I was like, where it was like every movie you had ever seen.
Yeah, we were in Manhattan, and all of a sudden we're in, you know, this high-rise looking gorgeous, like brownstone place, and I'm like, dang, like it really is like
just like that.
Just like that. Very that. I mean, I think it was a really interesting place to be. But, you know, being this person who's born and bred in New York, raised in the Bronx, and all of this, like, what was your relationship like with style and creativity growing up?
To be honest, I'm thankful for my mother for this. Every year she would say, oh, what's one of the things you want for Christmas? And for about 3 to 4 years straight, from the age of about 9 to 12, I always said I wanted to go down to 34th Street and look at the Macy's windows. I don't know. I mean, I know now what my obsession is. I didn't know then. I just liked the lights. I liked the garments, the way they hung on the mannequins. I loved it all. And that was at a young age. Like I said, I was about 9, and every year from 9 to 12, I made it very clear to my mom, I want to go to 34th Street and look in Macy's windows and look at the mannequins and the lights and the, you know, and the decor it gave. And here I am.
Now, James isn't as familiar with, certainly not American fashion as well, like as I am, like, you know, and I've been a little bit, I'm not like a fashionista by any means, but I keep up with the trends sometimes. And we were walking down, I must have been Fifth Avenue. I'm not sure exactly what street we were on, but, you know, we're just passing stores and stores and stores and like huge designers. And I'm stopping at every window and I'm staring at the shoes and the dress and like, oh my God, this is so incredible. I was like, you just don't, you know, because I grew up in the Midwest. I currently live in Cleveland, Ohio. We don't really have couture here.
Oh, that's where my mom is. My mom's in Cleveland.
Oh, is she? What part of Cleveland?
I don't know the parts, but my grandmother is on Euclid.
Okay, yeah. Well, so then there's not a ton of high fashion choices in the city of Cleveland. So like to have traveled to New York and see all of that, and it was just like I was so entranced.
Yeah, when I go out there to visit my grandmother and my mother, it never gives fashion. Sorry, Ohio, but it just never gives.
You know what? It's not an insult to Ohio. It really isn't, because there is Midwest fashion, and Midwest fashion is very, very different to either coast. Midwest fashion is about comfort. It's to an extent, yes, style. You will still look stylish, but it's more about comfort, versatility, and warmth. You know, because of
it's cold. Absolutely.
Yeah. As a fashion person, I have to ask this. And I'm sorry, James. I have to. How's your feelings on the Met Gala? Because I adore the Met Gala every year, and like I'm looking at all those pictures, and I'm just like I'm trying to guess who the designers are, and I'm always like so proud of myself when I'm right. Unfortunately, I haven't quite gotten James into the looks that the Met sometimes puts out.
I love the Met Gala. Love, 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 love it. The only time I become fashionably annoyed is when they don't follow the theme. I feel like the Met is when you get to really show out and show off and do something different than your regular red carpet, whether it's like an award show or a tribute or something like that. I feel like
they're so artistic.
right. The Met is about art. That's literally what it is. And so when they're giving these things to these stylists, I'm like, girl, take it to the moon, guy, take it all the way to through the sky, the universe, the galaxy. I just feel like so many celebrities and celebrity stylists play it safe so they don't land on the worst dressed list. But baby, if we're gonna do fashion, let's do fashion.
For me, my major critique is just sometimes I look at the garments and I'm like, how do you sit in that? How do you...
It's not supposed to. It's not about comfort. It's about
art. Listen,
you
the girls
suffer
on
for
Drag
art.
the girls
Beauty
on Drag Race
knows
say,
no pain.
You have to eat air, suck it in, tuck it in, all the things, but it better look good.
Fair enough.
And if all you're gonna do is just stand there and look pretty, that's what you're gonna do. Stand there and look pretty, and there's gonna be a million photographs taken of you.
That's it.
Hold on, you know what? You critiquing me on my Met Gala takes. Let me bring it back to something here, because you, of course, even though you're from New York City, I imagine similarly to London, even if you were from around here, like trying to make it here is a different story altogether. Trying to do the thing. And from what I know of your story, you really came into this scene without a lot of guarantees.
That is correct.
Share with us, like, what was that experience like, and how did you find the courage to do the damn thing?
So at 12 years old, my mom moved us up to Albany, New York, the capital region. Shout out to the capital region. And so while up there, you go to school, you go to high school, you go to college, all the things. I had landed a job in the non-for-profit sector working with people with disabilities. I had gotten laid off. I was 31 at the time. And I was like, what am I going to do? I was like, okay, do I want to get back into this field? And I just felt like that was my aha moment. I remember sitting on the floor in my house. I had put my head on my end table and I just started crying and praying. And I was like, God, whatever's for me, it's for me. Whatever path needs to be clear it. Whatever doors need to be open them. Whatever doors are shut, open the window, because I'll climb through that as well. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to pack up my stuff and I'm moving back to New York. I had been styling video girls at the time from the capital region. They were living in New York, so I was traveling back and forth. So I was still working a full-time job, and I was traveling back and forth on the weekends to New York City to style a bunch of different video girls. And so that I just saw as my opportunity to say, you know what, screw it, I'm out, I'm leaving. I left everything behind. I had a beautiful, condo up there, plush life, all of the amenities, all the things you can think of, a gated community. And I was like, I'm trading this all in to move to New York. And I only have about $100 in my savings after paying my bills because, like I said, I had been laid off. And I was like, I'm out of here. And I remember saying, if this is for me, I know it's not going to be easy, but I'll get it done. And I remember a week before I was supposed to move, I broke my hand. And I was like, nope, not deterring me. I packed up all my boxes. I called 2 of my guy friends and my best friend, Jasmine, and my mom, and they helped me put everything on the truck. I drove the U-Haul. My mom drove my car, and I came to New York with $100. I spent $50 at Pathmark on food, kept $50 in my pocket, and came out guns blazing. And I haven't looked back. I've never had to beg for money or food or anything like that. So I'm a firm believer that what is for you is for you. And what I asked was for my path to be clear, and that is what happened.
Again, I envy that drive.
This is reflected very much of my move to London, right? Coming from the other side of the world, I didn't have a job lined up. I didn't necessarily know a whole lot of people. So you show up with your bags and the dollars you got in the bank, and it's like, okay, I don't have money to waste right now. I've got to be strategic with deciding, first of all, even like the $50 you spend on food, that doesn't guarantee you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is like, okay, what meals can I afford to stretch it out over a number of days to make it work, to do what needs doing until I can get to the next step, until I can move forward. And you just sharing that story, I'm like, oh, that hits right in the...
Right.
It's what it takes to do the damn thing. And
I had months rent, security, broker's fee, my $100, my car that was fly but paid off. And I was like, listen, I got all of the necessities met. It's time to get her done. And about 5-6 months after I had gotten here, I was again still styling the video girls, but after about 5 or 6 months of me being here, I wound up styling a TV show. I don't know if you guys remember this. It was called Curvy Girls. It was on Nouveau TV. And I styled Lorna Litz Baez on that for all of season 2. And so that was my breakout into TV, reality TV in general. And so from that point on, I never stopped.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke to somebody else that was on Curvy Girls.
It was Nikki, wasn't it? Nikki Gomez.
Yes, Nikki Gomez was on Curvy Girls.
Yes.
Did you guys, so then you guys worked together?
Just missed each other.
Oh, okay.
And here y'all are both winners of this year's All Thicc Industry Awards. Sometimes I feel like we forget that this community is a little small. Not in a bad way, but in just like people cross and people meet and people just, girly, the interconnectedness of it all. Oh.
Yes.
Well, in addition to the music videos and the TV show, you've also done commercials, you've done print models, you've done covers and spreads. You've even styled for the Grammys. So what do you feel has been the greatest contributor to your success so far?
My determination, and again, because of me being a perfectionist, I would definitely say word of mouth. A lot of the times you get, you post your stuff on social media and that's great. But a lot of times it's really through the experience of being a great person at what you do, being a professional, showing up for yourself and for your client. And then people saying, oh, well, listen, I have this stylist I worked with. She's phenomenal or she's crappy, right? And that's literally how I've gotten most of my clients. It's really been through word of mouth. Again, social media is fine. And that's how I've gotten a lot of like different print work. But as far as personal clients, the personal styling and the red carpet styling and stuff like that, it's really been through word of mouth.
I imagine that's probably, because I know that the fashion industry is usually like a word of mouth kind of thing anyway, isn't it? Yep. So that makes sense. You've also written for several online and print publications. How important is it for you to be able to translate your innate style and ability to discern details into words?
I believe if you have a great imagination, like for me, again, fashion is art. And so those images live vividly in my head. And because of that, I'm able to then put my pen to the paper and get it done, or put my hands to the keyboard now, right, and get it done. That imagination is there, the thought process is there, and because of that, I'm able to take it from my brain to paper, to print.
I love that. And there's something to be said as well about creative types. You have this innate ability, even though styling and maybe fashion is more like the field, that's the zone where you know that you operate at your best. There's something to be said that when they throw something to you, being on a podcast or doing some writing publication, you might look at that and go, listen, that's not my zhuzh, but give me 5 minutes, I'll figure it out.
Like I said, it's just about determination and about who you are and your own confidence in yourself. I'm going to get it done. And whatever, and I tell people all the time, you're on social media anyway. You're on TikTok anyway. You're on YouTube anyway. If you don't know something, you don't understand something, Google it. It's really that simple. I know we make it out to be this grandeur thing. I know, years and years ago, it was a lot harder. You had to, again, wait for a seat at someone's table. But now with social media and the internet at our grasp, you get to have people sit at your table if you're willing to do the work. And so again, it's just about doing the research and your level of confidence in who you are and what you do.
I love that. And there's something I want to go back to here for a second, because you said this right at the beginning, girlie, and I paid attention to it. You said not only did you make your own table, but you said, you can sit at my table if I say you're worth it.
That's right.
Love that. That absolute no holds barred. Like, you didn't let me at your table in the first. Doesn't mean you're going to get the chance to come and sit at mine. I've got to be the one to decide. So let me ask you this. When you are looking at potential collaborators and people who you look at and you're considering, do I want to partner with them in whatever arena? All right? Whatever arena that might be the case. In that analogy of letting them have a seat at your table, what do you feel is the deciding factor in letting them pull out a chair?
First, being, again, and I know this sounds cliche, but being kind and giving people grace. I'm very big on treat people the way you want to be treated. So if you come across nastily in an email or nastily in person or via social media, chances are I won't work with you, just to be honest with you, because, you know, there's etiquette, right? There's a way to talk to people. Don't slide in my DMs or an email and go ranting. How about saying, good morning, Fatima? You know, those type of things. It's just simple etiquette. So yes, that's going to give you a seat at my table. The other thing is how hard you work, right? I wasn't born being a stylist. And so it took a lot of trial and error. So I'm not a stickler about having all this experience, but I am a stickler about being determined. How do you show up? If I'm allowing you to be my styling assistant and the shoot starts at 6, you should be there at 5:30, right? Because on time to me is late. And so again, having a seat at my table, having the qualifying factors isn't about being a mean girl because I'm a girl's girl. It's just about you owning your part of it. You said you wanted to do this, then show up.
Girly, everything you are saying right now is just...
I think the two of you could probably take over the world.
It just speaks to the work that it takes to do the dang thing. Like, I love this opportunity with podcasting to, you know, we've shared this story before with what we do. We started in our local community, really wanting to share the stories of the people in our space. We want to lift their voices and let the truth be told about their experiences, of course. And then as time has gone on, we find that so many people, even outside of that space, resonate with our mission statement, because even if it's not the exact match, it don't matter, because the spirit is true. And they see that, and there's resonance, and then it's a connection, and then it is a... You know, I'm gonna take it back to Bible college days. They call it the yoke. You are yoked together. And I resonate with that. And I feel like when you see it, and you make note of it, and you're like,
aha.
I catch it. And you want to hold on to it and think, even if this isn't the right moment for this, you still keep the person in mind and think, well, where can we bring this in? Where can I get a little bit of that shine and bring this together and use it that we can both be uplifted, right? I feel like often people come into these situations thinking, what can I get out of it?
Right.
Now, I see you're a celebrity stylist. You know, does that mean you would want to take a photo of me sometime? It's
right.
Do I know you? Who are you? What? With what? For what? With what money? You gonna pay me? What is this?
And that's the other thing too. It's with the seat at the table part of it, like you stated. It's honestly about also, can you pay my fee? Because a lot of times, a lot of people want TFP and free work, baby. My client walked the Grammys and was best dressed. So I need the math to math, right? And I need it to make sense, because bills don't chill. So if you're coming at me with an opportunity, don't TFP me, don't, oh, let's exchange us barter. No, I need the check to be cut and I need it to clear. That's all.
It's the T.S. Madison clip of her just going,
that's it. That's it.
Never work for free.
Point, please.
And listen,
No.
I understand when people talk about this, like when you first start, and like, yes, of course, when you first start, because you don't have anything. You don't have a portfolio. Nobody knows who you are. This is, sure, you have to do what you have to do, but you've expressed that perfectly. You show up on time, and on time is early. Thank you for clarifying, because no more of this, you are here on the dot. Oh, because I don't get paid for that. Neither do I, baby, but we need to utilize every minute of this day, so please, no idle chit-chat, because that was what your first 30 minutes before. Let's get straight to the business.
And I'm a firm believer in doing free work, absolutely. From your first 1 to 2 years in your field, when you don't have the experience, but you know that you were, you know, God gave you a gift to utilize, I am a firm believer of paying your dues and learning all you can learn. 1 to 2 years max. At that cutoff, you should have a portfolio, you should have a website, you should have a name for yourself, you should have all the things. And at that point, if you really are that girl or you really are that guy, if you've done the work and you've remained consistent and people are really, you know, feeling you and your work ethic and what you bring to the table, baby, cut the check and make sure it clears. That's it.
It'll be happening. And you know what? I want to shout out Tawana here, because when I was listening back to one of her interview episodes, someone had asked her, you know, in the development of the fires and everything that she does as a businesswoman, you know, what is one of the biggest things that you've learned? And she said, you know, top tip, where is your social media? Where is your email? Like, put it on every page, put it on the banner. Baby, don't hide how to contact you. Make yourself available to me. And you know, it's all those little things where it's like, if you really are serious about doing this, go ahead and do the thing. And so this actually brings up a point I would be curious to ask your perspective on, because I feel like in this era of the hustle culture, especially post-COVID, you know, everyone's grinding and wanting to do the next big thing, and I love that. I love seeing people do that. For me, feel like I have observed people trying to put something out there before it's ready. People trying to be like, invest in this project, buy into this product, this is the value add of it. And I'm like, baby, you just post, this is the first thing you posted. And
let me tell you something. I've been, like I said, in property management for 14 years. So yes, I'm more than qualified to open up my own property management, design and construction company. Again, I've done the work, 14 years of it, and I'm at the top of my field, supervising over 200 plus people. I'm really that girl. So yes, I can open up a property management company. I do believe that COVID has made everybody feel like, because we're virtual and because, you know, work scaled back a little bit, right? And you're working from home, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Baby, who is the worker? We have all of these chiefs and not enough Indians. I don't like that for us. I need some people to work and I need the other people to be the entrepreneurs. And that means 24/7 work, right? And if you're not willing to do 24/7 work as an entrepreneur, baby, you are a worker and I need you to go to work, whatever that work may be. And it's no shade because again, you know, like I said, I had a 9 to 5 most of my life. I just recently said, okay, no, like we're gonna do our own thing. And again, I'm just saying all that to say, I'm qualified. I'm overqualified. I could have been done it. I know all the vendors. I know all the general contractors. You know, everyone knows me, the housing commissioner, everyone knows me. But again, it's not about forcing yourself out there prematurely. It's about, okay, do you have the experience? Do you have the tenacity? Do you have the dedication to want to do this? Because it's very easy to get a check cut from work every 2 weeks. It's a lot harder when you're doing it yourself and you have to write your contracts. You have to write your policies. You have to do, you know, the hiring and the firing. So it's very different. But I do believe, like you said, that everyone wants to put something out there. And again, it's not about being the jack of all trades when you're mastering nothing. Master something and then put that out. That's what I'm big on. Again, everyone is not built to be an entrepreneur. I need someone to be a worker.
You know, something that really comes to mind for me here is it's all in God's time, right? And I feel like, again, even for the people who, even if it's on your spirit to say, oh, I want to do this thing, I want to put it out there. Again, when I look at, and I feel like if I can see the rush, then you know that there's a rush. Like, you know that the cake ain't baked.
Right.
In the oven. And then
Right.
when you pull it out of the oven, you got to let it sit. You got to let it rest and cool down before you put the icing on top. You got to exercise some patience there, you know. And what I love in this, again, this conviction from you, but also what is very clear, a career built on effort, a career built on the work, a career built on doing it all in the timing and following what you knew to be the plan and sticking to it and knowing that if it was right, it was going to happen. And here we are.
That's right.
Seeing the reward, you know. And I don't know, just for anyone watching this, like at whatever point in which you're watching this, like take note of that, you know, like I understand you want the thing now. Tim, you said this before, like we live in a time where people are very accustomed to Amazon same day delivery. We're very accustomed to people get what they want quick, smart. Sometimes you gotta wait.
It's cut to the end result without the process is what everyone wants now.
And like I said, I've been a 6-figure girl for a very, very long time, right? So it's very easy to remain in that realm. It's a lot harder, like I said, to go out there and get it yourself. And that's what entrepreneurship is about. It's about the work. It's about the dedication. But more importantly, it's about your character, your integrity, how you show up for yourself, how you show up for your team, the people's shoulders who you're standing on, because I'm only as strong as them. It's about all those things. It's just not about a microwave result, right? Like in design and construction, it's a vivid teacher of having to have patience, right? If you break ground on a property, it's not going to be built for about 2 to 3, maybe 5 years sometimes, right? So you're basically planting that seed and waiting, doing all the work and waiting for it to grow. There's nothing microwavable about design, construction, or property management. And that to me is my constant reminder of, listen, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. With celebrity styling, right? You got to do all of these poses and then you got to put it on a person and then you got to, you know, with the fittings and then, okay, wait, they gained a little bit of weight here. You got to, you know, take it out. You may have to, right before the red carpet, 2 weeks later, you might have to take it in because now they're on their fad diet for whatever reason. And so again, it's about, it takes time. If I just threw something on someone from H&M and sent them on the runway, baby, they're not gonna land on the best dress. It takes time. It's not gonna fit them correctly. It's not gonna be tailored correctly because I just took something off of a hanger and just threw it on them. So again, everything you do, whatever it is that you do, allow yourself the grace and the time and know that it's okay to not have it all together within 7 business days, right? Like it's okay.
I feel like we had a conversation similar to this not too long ago. The notion that sometimes within the plus size community, there is this expectation, and of course we want to represent the best of ourselves. So we want to come out here looking professional, feeling confident, looking incredible. Sometimes in our fullness, that is not representative of all of those things all at the same time, because we're human. And in a human, there is error, there is flaw, there is fault, there is all of that stuff, of course. And sometimes I feel like, much like what you're saying here, you've got to give it time to cook. We have to give ourselves time to really step into our fullness and to understand you're allowed to be confident today and then have a down day tomorrow. That does not take away from the fact that you are that girl on any other given day.
That happens if you're a size 0, a size 2, a size 12, a size 22. You're going to feel like that girl every day, as you should, but you may see like, ooh, baby, I got a little muffin top, or oh, baby, those arms are jiggling a little too much. Oh, I probably shouldn't have ate that cake last night at 1 o'clock in the morning. But the goal is, again, for you to forever feel like that girl or that guy all the time. That's just confidence. That has nothing to do with size. It has nothing to do with height. It has nothing to do with weight, any of those things. Like I said, I was that girl when my mother bore me. That's just it. And I'm going to be that girl until God says, okay, sweetie, it's time to come home. Like, I'm just going to always be that girl. And that's just a mindset. It's not about being conceited. It's about being convinced of who I am as a woman.
Girl, speak truth to power. Bob the Drag Queen was famous for the fact that their entrance line on Drag Race was, I'm hilarious, I am beautiful, I am intelligent, and humble. Funny line, right? Everyone, cack-a-cow. And obviously went on to win the season, did fabulous job. In a not so long ago interview, someone was bringing that up, like, oh, because people joke about, that you're not humble, everything. And then Bob was like, do you want to know the definition of humble? Is to present a false estimation of your value or worth. And what the fuck are we doing presenting anything other than this is the realness? I am this.
I tell people all the time, I'm a words girl. Humble is not me. The only time I am humble, and that's just going to be honest, is when I'm in the presence of God. I'm not going to be humble because that means, again, shortchanging yourself. And it also means to actually bow down to someone or something. And the only time I've ever bowed was when I was praying. So again, I'm going to bow to God and I'm going to be humble in the midst of God and in the presence of God. But baby, when it comes to human form, it's never giving humble.
I suppose I must have been confusing humility with sincerity.
That's
when I was younger, because I used to think that humility in a man was sexy, but I realize, I guess in this moment now, that it was really sincerity that I was searching for.
And when someone's sincere, that's a character trait, right? Like, that's not something you can teach, right? Your parents and your teachers, they teach you ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, but there's certain character traits like integrity, sincerity. Those things are character traits. You can't be taught that. It's either in you or it's not. It's not on you, it's in you. Mm-hmm.
Whereas I suppose you could be taught to be humble, because if someone chastises you enough, you would become humble. Yeah.
Let's talk about why people are taught to be humble. Because it's never to try to teach you, be gracious and, don't try to be... No, baby, it's because I like you're being too much. Quiet. Don't be all that. Don't annoy me. You're bothering me with all of your muchness. You're talking to... And girl, you said it right at the start there. People say you talk too much. Baby, that I've learned in the recent years, that is a red flag. They want you to be quiet because they don't like what you've got to say. They don't like that you have got a mouth with which to speak and the passion with which to back that up. People don't want to hear it because they are not prepared to receive it. And that is not our problem if you're not ready for it.
And that's that on that.
Take it. Oh, my goodness. And you know what? Since we're on all this, talking about our words... Power of our words. I did a little investigating this thing, and you are soon to be launching your own podcast, Power in the Pivot.
Yes.
Now, listen, I did a little investigating, and I know that we're not necessarily in the stages where we've got too much out there just right now, but for people who would be interested, and it should be every single one of you watching, you should be interested. What do you want people to know about this podcast, this project?
The bottom line is it is what it says it is, and it's power in the pivot. How I came from a non-for-profit background, right, and jumped into styling because I believed in myself. It's a power in the pivot. There's no age, there's no gender, there's no sexual orientation. It's just being able to pivot. It doesn't matter what part of the world you live in, pivot. If it no longer suits you, if it no longer feels good to your soul, if it is not your calling and you know you're supposed to be doing something else, baby, pivot. And that's just what it is. No matter what, pivot. And there's so much power in pivoting and saying Before you leave this earth, I did what I came to do. That's all it's about. Power in the pivot. It's okay to pivot any point in your life.
It is never too late. And just quickly, I know Oprah said this on a Super Soul Sunday once. She said, failure is just the universe signposting and telling you you're going the wrong way. Pick another direction. Human bodies are like what, 90% water or something like that? I don't remember. High school was a long time ago, girl.
I think it's 70%.
70%?
There was 90% too.
I think it's 70.
Whatever, it's more than 50, therefore majority. Anyways, human body, more than the majority percentage water, and the nature of water is to go where it is for it to flow, and if it meets resistance, it goes the path of least resistance, and again, bringing it back to the Bible college days, some people used to get up in a tizzy where they're like, oh, well, I don't know what to do, what are my giftings in God? And it's like, girlie, what are you passionate about? What do you have natural skills in? It's like, oh, these things. Then that's what your damn skill set is, yo. Like, this is not that complicated. Clearly you have a passion in this and a skill set in this because God Almighty said this is what you're meant to do. It is not that hard.
Right. I think it has a lot to do with people being afraid to take risks. I can definitely say for years I was afraid to take risks, right? Because I feel like I am the go-to for so many people. Dang, if I fail, who do I hold on? Who's going to pull me up literally off the ground? And I couldn't really think of more than one person or two people max. And so with that said, you become afraid more so when you become an adult, right? Like when you hit 25, 30, you paying your own bills, you're doing all the things. Like I've had my own place in all the things since I was 19 years old, right? And so for me, in my head, I was never given the opportunity to just say, oh, you know what? I'm going to go for this. I mean, I've always had a bomb job. Like I said, I've always had my stuff together. I've always had the latest of whatever I felt like I wanted. However, when you want something more, it becomes scary because you feel like if I fail, right? But what if you fly? What if you fly? Yes, what if you fail? But what if you fly? You can always go back to that job, right? You can always do whatever it is you were doing. It doesn't stop those things. But what if you fly? We're focused so much on the falling and the failing and the oh my God, but what if you actually fly?
I love that you said that because it just reminds me of something that I was reading a few days ago, and it's something that I've reread many times. I'm a huge fan of graphic novels, and I was rereading The Sandman, and there is a section in there called The Fear of Falling, and it presents this situation where it's, like in a dream, if you're climbing like up a rock cliff or whatever, and like your options, you wake up, you die in the dream, or the third option, you fly. There's always flying is always the option.
Now, Miss Fatima Tan'ia, you are an outstanding stylist, baby. What does it mean to you to be a part of this plus size legacy?
To me, it means that there's going to be a little girl, another Fatima Tan'ia in the Bronx at home right now, reading, seeing, hearing about me winning this award. And that's going to be her aha moment to knowing that she can do it too. There's also going to be that girl in her late 20s who just finished college and who's saying to herself, I don't want to be an engineer. I really want to be a stylist. This is going to resonate to her. There's going to be that girl who's working that corporate job, who's sitting at that keyboard pounding away, and her boss is yelling from the other room, and she's like, I can't take another day of this. I really just want to be in fashion. This is going to be for them. And that is why I do it. I don't necessarily do it all the time for me. Honestly speaking, I really do it because I have a love for making people look good, because I know when you look good, you feel good, right? That's the client side of it. But the other part of it is, honestly speaking, this assignment is bigger than me. I wasn't placed on this earth to just be great for myself. I was placed on this earth to be great for myself, my family, my friends, but for someone behind me or someone, looking up to me that's saying, I want to do this. Where do I even start? Is it even possible? This is showing them that right now it is possible. When all odds are stacked against you, when you're coming from, a borough that doesn't have the greatest light, when you're, moved at 12 years old to another city far away from your friends and your family, and no one likes you because you're from New York City. This is your reminder that I went out and did it, and you could do it as well. That is why I do it.
That's that on that.
That's that on that.
That. Now, I need to ask you, because we're obviously pro food, we're pro all this good juiciness. So I need to ask you, what food gives you life, and what food brings you peace?
Ooh, food. I love food. Pizza is my go-to. I love pizza. I can eat pizza, especially with a chicken wing, a flat, and a little blue cheese, baby. It's gonna give every time. I love that. My comfort food, so the one I just cannot live without, baked mac and cheese. It has to be the soul food kind. It has to have 5 to 6 cheeses. It has to bubble over. It has to have that nice crisp crunch on top. I need it to marinate. So when it comes out the oven, I need it to sit for about a good 10 to 15 minutes so it sticks together. Yeah, that's the one for me every time.
Yo, you get me hungry talking about mac and cheese like that. Damn.
Yes, love it.
Now, I want to ask you, what aspects of all things plus size do you think gets a little too much shine? And what aspects of all things plus size do you think we need to see more of?
I think we need to see more of versatility. Like, I would love to see the thicker girls in menswear, right? Like, not just baggy clothes. Like, baby, get into your fit, know your body shape, get those clothes tailored, and be versatile. Like I said, New York is a melting pot. Put that thing on. Put it on. Don't save the outfit for another day. Today is the day. Today, it's always a good day to wear a good fit. So I would say that. And then the prior question, I would definitely say leave the major crop tops alone, because they don't necessarily look good on any fit, honestly speaking. I just think that it needs to hit you in the right space. So a crop top that's giving more sports bra is not going to look good on a thicker girl. It looks good in the gym, that's cool. But like, first of all, I want all my girls to love the skin that they're in, for sure. But I also want them to look good, because again, when you look good, you feel good. And when you're constantly tugging at your clothes because it's too small or it's too short, it's a clear sign that you don't feel good. No one feels good pulling their clothes all day long. Whether it's pulling it down, pulling it up, pulling it around, you know what I mean? So just wear what fits, wear what looks good to you, but again, what feels good. And if it feels good, you're not going to be tugging at your clothes.
Billy, we are nearing the end of today's conversation, so we need to know, what do you have coming up next? And what is the next big thing you want?
Ooh, okay. So what I have coming up next, as you guys stated, is Powering the Pivot. That's my new baby. I have, to be honest, pushed it off for about a year and a half. I kept getting, as confident as I am, I kept getting nervous, like, oh, is this my thing? But again, I've always been told that I have a voice and a power in my voice, so I know it's my thing. I just have to get over that and just get it done. So Powering the Pivot is coming, and that's more so thanks to you guys as well for pushing me in that aspect. And I love that for me, right? Because you can't have all the things. We're constantly learning and growing. So definitely Powering the Pivot. FTM Property Management, that's my property management company. It's property management, it's design and construction, it's compliance, it's leasing. So I'm super excited about that, super excited about the contracts I'm getting with that. And then just continuing to build my brand as a lifestyle content creator, from working out to cooking. I love to cook. I love to eat, but I love to cook. I love to cook. I have 3 brothers. I'm the oldest and the only girl on my mom's side. So cooking has always been my jam. So definitely lifestyle content creation. And you may see a little cookbook or something in the nearest future, but you get it first here. Just letting you know.
Well, I better have a copy. I better have an advance copy signed by your good self.
And it's going to get free $99 for you. So that's just the bottom line. But yes, so the biggest things right now for me is FTM Property Management, for sure. Continuing the lifestyle content creation, continuing to get the girls and the gals together on the red carpet and at home with the closet audits and all the things. But yes, Empowering the Pivot. Yeah, it's coming.
Oh. To me, this was fire. Oh my god, this was just so much fun. Now listen, Gully, where can the viewers find you online?
Yes, so Fatima __Tan'ia. So it's FATIMA __TANIA. And from there, you'll get to the property management page, which is FTM Prop Management. It'll give you all the different guides to all the different avenues on social media. But yes, Fatima ___ Tan'ia. Come see your girl.
Well, that's a wrapping out here with this week's Full Figured interview. You can find me on Instagram at Stanham.
And you can find me on Instagram.
Instagram? Insta what?
Instagram. What the?
Go
What's
find
wrong with me tonight?
Go find you in
God.
the Instapot. Like,
I don't know what it.
Right.
Food pot. I don't.
foosball. You've been eating food pot, Baba Busha.
Foosball. You've been playing foosball, Baba Bush.
Sorry, Tim. Where was it?
Little girls out of death.
I'd have better
Anyway.
let this. Thomas Edison. Oh, for goodness. Sorry.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I had a slight stroke there. And you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Thicc.
Now, please like this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Comment below and let us know your thoughts on today's conversation. Share the video with your friends and encourage them to tune in next week, where we'll be speaking with more full-figured excellence right here on the channel. So until then, have a great week.